Good morning, everyone. My name is Rita Ali, serve as Peoria's mayor. And I want to welcome everyone that's in attendance here today and thank the Peoria Housing Authority for hosting this press conference and meeting in their beautiful administration building. I think this is also the boardroom? Board meeting room?
Yes.
Okay. Together as collaborative partners, the city and the Peoria Housing Authority, we are excited to announce the award of $500,000 of a Choice Neighborhoods Planning Grant from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, otherwise known as HUD. The joint application effort for this opportunity is one that we've been working on for a little bit over a year, and it is an opportunity that can lead to significant future investment in Peoria's South Side. We were originally going to have this conference outside of the Harrison Homes development, but the weather didn't allow us to do that. The pavement was wet. We were going to have tents, but we're inside, and I think that was a good choice. This grant will support the City of Peoria and PHA in developing a resident-led, comprehensive neighborhood revitalization plan for the communities surrounding and including Harrison Homes. We will create a transformation plan aimed at addressing quality of life concerns that make a neighborhood feel vibrant, safe, and connected. Choice Neighborhoods is a HUD program that aims to redevelop distressed HUD-assisted housing into new mixed-income communities. The program employs a housing, people, and neighborhood model that in its implementation phase provides funding for physical neighborhood improvements, comprehensive supportive services for residents, and flexible funds for physical neighborhood improvements that attract and catalyze private investment. The program is focused on three core goals: replacing severely distressed public and HUD-assisted housing, which Harrison Homes, fits that description, with high-quality mixed-income housing, improving the lives of residents living in the target housing, and creating opportunities for people that live in the surrounding neighborhood. There are three goals. Housing goals: to replace severely distressed public and HUD-assisted housing with high-quality mixed-income housing that is well-managed and responsive to the needs of the surrounding neighborhood. Number two, people goals: to improve outcomes of households living in the target housing related to income and employment, health, and education. And the third is neighborhood goals: to create the conditions necessary for public and private investment in distressed neighborhoods, to offer the kinds of amenities and assets that include safety, good schools, and commercial activity that are important to families' choices about their community. The transformation plan becomes the guiding document for the revitalization effort. So providing safe, quality, and affordable housing is a huge priority for the City of Peoria, and we look forward to continuing the work alongside the Peoria Housing Authority to reimagine what quality, affordable housing can look like for Harrison Homes and its surrounding community. Our community members are our best resource. They are the true experts in what their neighborhood needs are, and we will look to them for their vision of a transformed Harrison Homes and a renewed Southside community. Creating a community-driven transformation plan for the neighborhood while bringing much-needed amenities to the Harrison Homes and the surrounding area will invite future investment. The planning process says things are happening here and builds momentum toward a vision of revitalized neighborhood. Speaking of momentum, the City of Peoria has been working diligently to lay the groundwork for reinvestment in zip code 61605, to not only revitalize Peoria, but to make it stronger. I would like to highlight some recent priorities and projects that have had a direct impact on this community. One, demolishing the former Harrison School, which sat vacant for many, many years and was a safety hazard to residents at Harrison Homes, to students at Annie Jo Gordon Learning Center, and the community members in the surrounding neighborhood. Secondly, repairing sidewalks to improve the connectivity and accessibility of the 61605 zip code area, including over $2 million set aside for sidewalk improvements on the south side of Peoria, thanks to a congressionally directed funding request. And then infrastructure improvements to Western Avenue corridor. How many of you noticed those improvements to Western Avenue? We installed a beautiful new welcome to Peoria sign as travelers enter the South Side Gateway entrance of Peoria. Building a brand new fire station on Western Avenue. I know you've had to see that fire station. My mother lives right across the street, so she sees it all the time. Partnering with the Peoria Park District to upgrade Tree Wind Park and Logan Park, and demolishing over 170 abandoned vacant buildings in Peoria 61605 since 2021. Much of that work was done under the leadership of our community development department within the city that's led by Director Joe Doolin. We have additional projects that will be occurring in 2024 and 2025, including a project totaling close to $20 million from Peoria Opportunities Foundation and Pivotal Housing located on Sumner and Shelley Streets that will provide quality and affordable housing opportunities for Peoria families. Also, infrastructure work on MacArthur Avenue will take place next year and the year after, and we will also spend almost $1.2 million to continue to tear down vacant and blighted residential structures, especially on the south side of Peoria. So each of these projects contributes to the revitalization of Peoria's south side, which is a legacy neighborhood and tells the story of where we've been and reflects the strength, resilience, and the character of our city. The south side of Peoria has a strong, vibrant history and offers strong neighborhood and community associations, including Peoria's only Carnegie Library, the beautiful Lincoln Branch Library, and access to some of the oldest and most beautiful Peoria Park District facilities such as Tree Wind Park, Logan Park, and Proctor Center. This grant gives us an opportunity to capitalize on our strengths, identify areas of improvement, and build a better future for Peoria's Southside community. So I want to emphasize that the grant that we received is a Choice Neighborhoods Planning Grant. Planning grants are much smaller in size, but they lay the foundation for a potential Choice Neighborhood Implementation Grant application. Those grants are as much as $50 million. These require strong plans and exceptional community collaboration and investment, which means we can't apply for a Choice Neighborhood Implementation Grant unless we first have a strong planning grant or transformation plan. I would now like to ask Director Amika Crawford, the CEO of Peoria Housing Authority and our partner, to take it from here.
Thank you, Mayor Ali. Okay. And well said, excuse me, well represented. And I'd like to express how grateful I am and thankful I am to be a part of this process. Peoria Housing Authority partnering with the City of Peoria, Mayor Ali and her team, the vision for 61605 and the South Side is underway. And I'm thankful that this collaboration is also continuing to grow. As Mayor Ali said, we've been awarded this opportunity to create a comprehensive plan. It will be a community-driven plan. The plan will consist of ideas that extend or expand beyond my ideas, the authority's ideas, or the city's ideas. It will require input from community residents within the Harrison homes, residents in the surrounding areas, stakeholders, business partners, public and private stakeholders as well, grassroots organizations. Again, we want to hear from you and make sure that you are part of this process and the advisory boards that we'll put together. Again, the south side of Peoria is transforming, and we're proud to be a part of it. There are other initiatives that the mayor has listed out previously that will improve how our residents live and the surrounding areas. We're proud to be a part of that, whether we're extending more project-based vouchers so that these projects can be viable, or we're partnering with the Choice Neighborhood initiative with the city, or we're continuing additional development opportunities within 61605. Mayor Ali has made it very clear that this is one of her priorities, her administration's priorities, and we are excited to be a part of this. I want to make this also a part of my remarks section about those who are in the community. I can be a part of the planning, and I can help bring the resources to the table, but our greatest resource and our greatest allies and our greatest assets are our residents and our business partners and our grassroots partners. So I'd like for you to hear from them about what this means to them versus me telling you what the next steps are. We'll leave that for the end. And so with that, I will turn it over to Miss Natasha Yarborough, and she will give you her background as being a former resident of Harrison Homes and what this means to her. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Crawford, for that. Who would have thought that I'd be standing up here working for the Peoria Housing Authority as a eligibility specialist? My title changed, it used to be clerk specialist. As a past resident of the Harrison Homes, I wouldn't think about that. I mean, my passion for the revitalization, as far as we have to make our families feel safe and self-sufficient, as far as my experience. We were a family. We were a family growing up down there. I can remember my address. That's how much I am so dedicated to the Harrison home. 2612 West Midra. It's no longer there, but we thought we were doing something when we moved next door. We went from a 2-bedroom to a 3-bedroom to 2612 West Midra, apartment 277. So we were excited, me and my sisters and my mother, we were excited. That, as for us, was an accomplishment. The Harrison home at that time, we had a library, we had a laundromat, we had a grocery store that was located next to Harrison School, a grocery store, not a convenience store, but a small grocery store. And the owner sometime would give us free candy if we show our report card, so conduct wasn't good for me, but, the rest was, because I had a problem staying in my seat, still do. But that I guess the sense of caring is what I hope that it be brought back to the Harrison home, because the residents now is experiencing something completely different from my experience in the Harrison home. I started off as when it was K through 8. So that lets you know that I'm aging myself, but that lets you know that how far as I've been living down there. So it's probably like over 30 years. So the experience as far as me living down in Harrison home, I hope in addition to the violation of the Harrison home, will be a tremendous enjoyment for the families down there. So they will experience families as far as I guess, the culture, helping one another, teaching one another, but also feeling self-sufficient as far as moving forward as they develop in their own personal experience. So that's just my experience as far as Harrison Home. It was a family-oriented, I guess, community. It still can be, and with this grant, it will be. So thank you.
And so next, what Ms. Natasha just spoke on, is it speaks to the importance of neighborhoods, and it speaks to the importance of people. Housing is just one component. If you're not expanding and revitalizing the neighborhood, it impacts how the people within the neighborhoods live. Neighborhoods are the unit of change that can have the greatest impact on people's lives, changing life trajectories for the lowest income families, creating greater racial equity, improved health outcomes, and increased upward mobility is what we'll have an opportunity to achieve through this grant. And no one knows this better than our next grassroots resident advocate, Ms. Doris Coates. I'm a apologize, Ms.
No worries.
Hi. I'm happy to be here today. I'm hoping to contribute some energy, support, and passion to this initiative. My name is Doris Coaster, and I'm here as a resident of 61605 and a member of Nourish Incorporated. Success is based on not only what you do, but how you do it. And I want to cushion that in light of what has often happened previously with programs from different directions over the years. I have seen programs that come in to try to help do things for us, for the residents of the Harrison homes, for 61605. I have known of programs that have done things to us. And now finally with this initiative, someone wants to come down to the South End and help do something with us. With us, including our voices, including our opinions. This program is important because it brings the needed wisdom to work alongside us as a respected partner with a voice as we are seated at the planning table. From the beginning, what we consider important for ourselves will be heard and taken into account. That is very different than what has happened in the past. What does it mean to me to have a community-based strategic planning initiative? It means that resources and dollars can be dedicated to the transformation of my entire community. I love what has happened on Western. I excitedly wait for that level of commitment and transformation to begin to start there and then reach out all across our area. I'm ready for my block to get the pretty lights and the flowers and the dilapidated houses cut down, and the care showing that as an entire community, Peoria takes pride in its residents and neighborhoods. How will resident community-based strategic planning positively impact us going forward? It will yield more effective answers to be implemented. We live on the South End. We know what our needs are. Think about it. Do you want to be placed in a situation as a homeowner, resident, renter, where other people think they know better what you need than you do? No, now with this program, I'm excited that we have, again, a voice. We have a way to share our creative ideas. We have ways to share the needs that face us day in and day out. So I champion Mayor Ali, the director and leadership of PHA, and I'm happy to be here in support. Thank you.
Thank you.
And so thank you so much, Ms. Coaster. And so I will turn this back over to Mayor Ali. And again, thank you and the City of Peoria for your partnership. And one thing that I just want to also share with you is that within Peoria, 61605 area code, and the target area that we're targeting, the extremely low income for that area of the population makes up 41.95%. Extremely low income, which means the families in that area, from a one-person family to an eight-person family, they're making anywhere from $16,000 to the max of about $44,000. So this is an opportunity for us to do something amazing. And again, thank you for your partnership.
Thank you. I just want to, before we go to questions, I just want to thank all of those who were involved in developing the grant application, from the city side, community development, from the Peoria Housing Authority and their consultants and their partners and staff, Ms. Pollard and others, everybody that has been involved in a lot of those weekly meetings, monthly meetings, and the whole development process, because it takes a team, it takes real partnership to really put together a strong application for a federal grant application. And we hope to work together. It's a 2-year grant, 2-year planning grant, and then after that 2 years, we hope to have a strong plan in place. So I just want to speak to the choice neighborhood, what that is, that includes the Harrison homes, what the border is. If Mr. Doolin, Director Doolin, if you could just kind of explain the perimeters, those streets that outline our choice neighborhood.
Yes,
Okay,
it's a
would
quick
you-
answer. So
okay.
I believe if you go towards, it's Laramie on one side, then up to Proctor, then over to Western, and then down on Adams. So it's kind of that square area is the area we're looking at. So
Okay. So it's all the homes, all the businesses, all the not-for-profit, all the schools, whatever is within that area, that's our choice neighborhood, our target neighborhood.
Say that one more time again, Joel, it was Laramie, Proctor, Western, and what was the other?
Adams.
Thank you.
So questions from the media?
Yeah, I got one. You talked about that there's I believe you said, Mayor Rita Ali, that there was already $20 million for quality and affordable housing for families, and then $1.2 million for tearing down more structures, like, the ones that the City of Peoria is working on. Is that accurate, or do I have that wrong? I just want
Can you speak to that?
to make sure I'm not saying it wrong.
yeah, I mean, I think it's a very good example of why this grant and the planning opportunity is so important. So on the near south side of the other side of Western is where about 3 or 4 years ago, we went through a planning process with the Illinois Housing and Development Authority to do a housing needs assessment there. That kind of laid the groundwork for Peoria Opportunities Foundation and Pivotal Housing to apply for IDA tax credits. And that's the project the mayor was referencing around that area. And it'll be about a $20 million investment to provide close to about 65 brand new units for families living in that area, with the hopes of them continuing to use that plan and momentum for future investment. And then the $1.2 million she mentioned specifically for demo in 61605 next year includes the city council, hopefully in the next month or so, will pass their budget, but it will be included in American Rescue Plan money for continued demolition work there. And then just about a month ago, the city was awarded a grant from the Illinois Housing and Development Authority for $712,000 for additional demos. So all in all, we have about $1.8 million for demolition next year, and about 1.2 to 1.5 of that million will be specifically spent in 61605.
Thank you. You said that $20 million for quality and affordable housing for families, 60 to 65 units. That's the grant for 2024, correct?
IDA was awarded that, Peoria Opportunities Foundation was awarded that tax credit project already. They'll break ground in the spring of 2024. Yep.
And there's more money.
So in addition, if you take a look to your right here, Peoria Housing Authority was awarded $1.249 million for a hazards and lead-based paint grant. And within the Choice Neighborhood grant, as Mayor Ali pointed out, it's a 2-year process. And what I want to make sure that we're doing for our families who are still living in the old Harrison homes is invest. Yes, we're demolishing it at some point, but we have to get past the next 2 years. But residents still deserve to live in safe, decent, sanitary housing. So what Peoria Housing Authority did was apply for this grant, which will then allow us to go into each of the homes where residents are currently residing, and it allow us to address any lead-based paint issues, carbon monoxide detectors, and testing for radon and fire sprinklers and asbestos and so on. And so this is for Harrison, and then of course any of our other projects or developments that we have, this grant extends to this as well. We're also looking forward to implementing more programs as we apply for grants, including workforce development. I know we have workforce development around the community. However, what we have sometimes is our barriers with transportation and childcare. So we wanted to know how can we extend or expand that program to those who are having barriers getting over to the workforce development site. So we have our Youth Build program, which we've spoke of in the past, which is, how much is that, team members, for the Youth Build grant? $1.5 million. And so we have additional funding there. So again, we're looking to continue and further our partnership with the city in 61605, although we cover other areas, but this is a priority to the city. So it is a priority to the Peoria Housing Authority, which makes this collaboration even stronger. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Markeisha, and I'm a student of ICC. I'm in a journalism class. I'm happy to be here. I heard that you guys touched on safety and how important it is for the community and the residents. And I wanted to know, do you guys have a budget of how much of the grant or funding will go towards ensuring safety for the residents and the community?
So do you want to speak to that? Or, so it's a planning grant. A lot of the funding for the planning is bringing people together in terms of resident meetings, forums, bringing all the key stakeholders together to help to develop this plan. So a lot of it pays for personnel. A lot of grants, the biggest cost is personnel to actually do the work. And that's the same here. Most of the funding is toward personnel, but safety considerations will be a high priority in terms of not just the Harrison homes, but certainly the Harrison homes, but also the entire Choice neighborhood. Do you want to add to that?
Yeah. I will just add that what the mayor said is absolutely right, this grant, and why it's so important to stress, because I think a lot of people sometimes hear about grants like this, and this is a planning grant. I mean, this is to prepare for future funding opportunities. But to get to your kind of question about safety in our community, I mean, I think everyone up here will fully acknowledge that quality, affordable housing and lack thereof is a huge root cause of crime and safety in neighborhoods. This gets at addressing the actual root cause. I mean, the investment the Housing Authority has already made in housing in 61605, I mean, if you just look at the Harrison site, one side of it, they've done a beautiful job. But investing in quality, affordable housing will actually address the root cause of safety in our community. Not a quick fix, but over the long term, really a much healthier outcome for Peoria.
And if I can add
Yes.
to that, one thing that I'm proud of with this group, as we're looking at housing differently, we're not looking at just housing people or working with the mayor's office to just house people. We're looking at community development from a holistic standpoint. And when you address community development and the social determinants that cause the outcomes that we're seeing in the 61605, we look at that as the impetus or our core focus. What are the needs or what are the barriers that are in place? What are the challenges? And we address it from that standpoint, including all voices, and then how do we then build that community that will address these things? From my perspective, and then there are studies out that are out that'll show that correlation between a healthy community when you align it with community development and neighborhood amenities that are available for those families that are living in that community. So that's what we're striving for. Hopefully.
So I would just add, is it Marquita?
Markeisha.
Markeisha, that, not long from now, we expect for you to be seen on the other side of that banister with one of those media badges on and asking the questions from over there. So good luck to you on your
Thank you.
studies at
I
ICC.
have to say this off the record. I am a former resident of the Harrison Homes. So it was really important for me to be here and to be able to be a part of this meeting, because I no longer live there, but I am aware of all of the struggles and things that people are going through. And I know that it is like an ongoing process to be able to repair, and it's not an overnight thing. So I'm
Yes.
happy that this grant is gonna help to build the community, and just build up people themselves as individuals.
Beautiful. Thank you for that testimony. Any other questions from the media? Yes.
How likely is it that Peoria will be able to get an implementation grant for this?
So it's hard to say. They're highly competitive. They typically only give out about 6 to 7 of those grants annually, but they typically do it every year. Most of those cities that get an implementation grant have went through the planning process. So it's really important for us to go through this planning process. $50 million is a lot of money. It does require contributions from the community, so there's a match requirement. So it takes a lot of effort, it takes a lot of commitment, takes a lot of investment from the community. And that's what we're working to build over the next 2 years, the commitment, the investment, the support. So it puts us in a strong position to jointly apply to the federal government for an implementation grant. Great question.
And that comes from the federal level or the state level?
It's definitely the federal level.
That's what I thought. That's what I
Yes,
thought.
yeah.
Mayor, could I just add something?
Yes, absolutely.
I think the really awesome opportunity that exists with this planning grant, though, is not just stop. I mean, if we get an implementation grant, that's fantastic, but it opens up a lot more doors for the Housing Authority and for the City of Peoria, attracting other development in that area. I mean, one of the things we saw with the Peoria Opportunities and Pivotal Project is IDA looked very strongly that there was a plan in place to provide those tax credits. And last year in Peoria, they awarded, I think, 16 tax credit projects throughout the state. Peoria got 2 of them. And so it sets the stage and have a plan in place. So when the Peoria Housing Authority, and I'm sure Director Crawford will talk to me, but she's not going to just, if we get the implementation grant, great, but if not, nothing's going to happen. They'll be exploring other funding that they'll use this as a catalyst for.
And you're absolutely correct. We are very optimistic because we are going to be very progressive with our planning efforts so that we can get the implementation grant. However, we're already exploring opportunities so that we can continue to move forward because this is a priority of ours. It is not an option. It is a priority with or without the additional funding through the Choice Neighborhood Initiative. But we're optimistic.
Yeah, so for Therese, I know you said, and apologize if I got that name wrong, my bad. You said when you were up at the podium, how like you live on the south end, how would you feel if other people were making these choices for you, and how does it make you feel that now you're part of that process and that things are looking up in terms of what you want accomplished on the south side?
I'm so relieved, actually. It's been years living on the south end and seeing, again, programs come along that sound like it might be okay, and at the end of the day, there was no buy-in from the residents, and that is very important for this next part of the process. We need to be active, and I did want to say to the 61605 community, this is the open door. This is not a time to be quiet. This is not a time to be nonchalant. We have needs, and finally, we have federal dollars to address it. Take the opportunity to use your voice and tell the leadership what you want to see on the south end. These opportunities don't come every day. As far as Nourish, as far as a nonprofit in the area, the 13 through 1800 block of Arago, that's our audience. And we decided years ago that we were going to stop waiting for an answer outside of us and beyond us. So as neighbors, we've collaborated together to purchase houses on our own block. We bought lots next to our own homes, extended yards. We pick up our trash. We watch out for each other. We want to see this culture, not just on our block, but that be the mark of 61605. I don't talk about yesteryear and how, I know it is a legacy community. I'm here to help take the best from the past and keep looking forward. Thank you.
We've got time for a couple more questions, then we'll wrap up.
Okay, first, let me get any media questions. Okay, Markeisha?
Okay, what percent of applicants on the PHA waiting list are homeless?
So I would need to get that to you because we do track that in our database by zip code when they're homeless. So I can get that information to you outside of the conference.
Do you think that this funding or this planning would have a positive impact on the amount of homelessness throughout the city?
Any addition to housing, and I'll then turn that over to the mayor's office, and I can only speak from PHA's perspective. We serve the county, and we have many partners, and we're in partnership with Continuum of Care. We work very closely with Continuum of Care and some of the other homeless shelters, including Dream Center, Center for Abuse Prevention, and some of the other, Salvation Army. So we work very closely with them. We have special vouchers that are just catered to that demographic. Will this help reduce homelessness? Again, I believe that any additional housing will help homelessness. And then we serve very low income to moderate income families. The Housing Authority serves it all. Most people think that we only cater to one population. We cater to the community and the needs of the community with housing, with social services, with workforce development, and many needs that our residents may have. So will it have an impact? Yes. And one thing that HUD likes to see before the planning, during the planning, after the planning, is that we are creating community partnerships, and we're in the community doing things that cater to those who live in the community, so that we can reduce homelessness.
And I'll just add to that. I mean, I think that homelessness is a very complex problem, but at the end of the day, the way to solve homelessness in any community is more quality, affordable housing for residents. And so this project lays the groundwork for that, in addition to the work the city and the Peoria Housing Authority has already done. Those two tax credit projects I mentioned earlier that we'll hopefully bring online in about a year and a half or so. The other one is Phoenix Manor. Both of those projects would not happen if it wasn't for the support of the Peoria Housing Authority with their vouchers and their willingness to work with the developers. So, you know, it's a very complex issue, but when you get down to it, the way to really impact homelessness is to have more quality, affordable housing. This really lays that framework for the future.
So if anyone has any additional questions, please approach anyone up here or any of the staff for the city or the Peoria Housing Authority. But we want to thank everyone for coming out today. It's a good day. Thank you very much.